Have you ever felt like you're living in a world that just doesn't get you? Like you're speaking a different language, even when you're using the same words as everyone else? If you're nodding your head right now, chances are you might be an INFJ, one of the rarest personality types on the planet. Today, we're diving deep into the harsh realities that only INFJs truly understand. These aren't just quirky personality traits we're talking about. These are the raw, unfiltered truths that shape how INFJs experience life every single day. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the darker side of being the world's rarest personality type. 1. You'll always feel like an outsider looking in. Let's start with perhaps the most painful truth of all. INFJs will always feel like they're on the outside looking in. It doesn't matter how many friends you have or how well people seem to know you. There's this constant feeling that you're wearing a mask, playing a role that doesn't quite fit. You know that feeling when you're at a party and everyone's laughing and having a great time, but you feel like you're watching it all from behind glass? That's the INFJ experience in a nutshell. You can participate, you can even enjoy yourself, but there's always this underlying sense that you don't quite belong. This isn't about being antisocial or having social anxiety, though those can be factors too. It's about having a fundamentally different operating system than most people. While others are living in the moment, you're analyzing the deeper meaning behind every interaction. While they're enjoying surface-level conversations, you're craving something more substantial. The harsh reality is that this feeling never really goes away. You might have moments where you feel truly understood, but they're rare and fleeting. Most of the time, you're navigating a world that feels foreign, even when you're surrounded by people who care about you. 2. People will drain your energy, even when you love them. Here's something that sounds cruel but rings true for every INFJ. People are exhausting. And we're not just talking about difficult people or energy vampires. We're talking about everyone, including the people you love most in the world. As an INFJ, you don't just hear what people are saying, you feel it. You absorb their emotions, their stress, their joy, their pain. It's like being an emotional sponge that never gets wrung out. Every conversation is an investment of your energy, and most interactions leave you feeling drained rather than energized. This creates a painful contradiction. INFJs genuinely care about people and want to help them, but being around people is exhausting. You might love your best friend dearly, but after spending time with them, you need hours or even days to recover. You might enjoy family gatherings, but you also need to mentally prepare for them like they're marathon races. The hardest part is that most people don't understand this. They take it personally when you need space or seem distant after social interactions. They don't realize that your need for solitude isn't about them. It's about survival. 3. Your intuition will isolate you from others. INFJs are known for their strong intuition, and while this can be a superpower, it's also a source of deep loneliness. You see patterns and connections that others miss. You sense things about people and situations that aren't immediately obvious. You have gut feelings that turn out to be right more often than not. But here's the kicker. Try explaining that to someone else. Try telling your friend that you have a bad feeling about their new romantic partner, even though they seem perfectly nice on the surface. Try explaining to your family that you sense underlying tension at the dinner table that everyone else seems oblivious to. Most people don't trust intuition the way INFJs do. They want facts, evidence, logical explanations. When you say, "I just have a feeling," they dismiss it as overthinking or being too sensitive. But then, months or years later, when your intuition proves correct, they're amazed. Unfortunately, by then, it's often too late to prevent the hurt or damage you sense coming. This creates a lonely existence where you're constantly seeing things others can't see, knowing things you can't prove, and watching situations unfold exactly as you predicted while feeling powerless to change them. 4. You'll care more than others, and it will hurt. INFJs feel everything deeply. When you care with your whole heart. When you're passionate about something, it consumes you. When you love someone, you love them with an intensity that can be overwhelming, both for you and for them. The harsh truth is that most people don't operate at this level of emotional intensity. While you're giving 100% of yourself to relationships, causes, and dreams, others are giving maybe 60% or 70%. This imbalance creates a world of hurt. You'll find yourself more invested in friendships than your friends are. You'll care more about your work projects than your colleagues do. You'll be more concerned about global issues than the people around you. And this disparity will leave you feeling disappointed, frustrated, and sometimes bitter. The worst part is that people will often take advantage of how much you care. They'll rely on your dedication without reciprocating. They'll assume you'll always be there to pick up the slack because you care so deeply. And you'll let them because walking away feels like giving up on something important. 5. Most people won't understand your need for meaning. While others are content with surface-level existence, INFJs are constantly searching for deeper meaning and purpose. You can't just go through the motions. You need to understand why you're doing what you're doing and how it fits into the bigger picture. This need for meaning extends to everything in your life. You can't just have a job. You need a calling. You can't just have conversations. You need connections. You can't just exist. You need to matter. But here's the brutal reality. Most people are perfectly happy with surface-level living. They can work jobs they don't love, have relationships that lack depth, and go through life without questioning the bigger picture. They'll look at your constant search for meaning as overthinking, being too intense, or making life unnecessarily complicated. This fundamental difference in how you approach life creates a sense of isolation. You'll feel like you're the only one asking the important questions, the only one who cares about making a real difference. Others will see your idealism as naive and your standards as unrealistic. 6. Your perfectionism will be your own worst enemy. INFJs are notorious perfectionists, but this isn't just about wanting things to be neat and organized. This is about having impossibly high standards for yourself and your work, standards that are often unattainable and always exhausting. You'll spend hours perfecting something that others would consider good enough after 20 minutes. You'll agonize over decisions that others make without a second thought. You'll replay conversations in your head, wondering if you said the right thing, made the right impression, or could have handled it better. This perfectionism extends beyond your own actions to your expectations of the world around you. You have a vision of how things should be, how people should treat each other, how systems should work, how problems should be solved. When reality falls short of this vision, which it inevitably does, you feel disappointed and disillusioned. The harsh truth is that your perfectionism will hold you back more than it helps you. You'll miss opportunities because you're waiting for the perfect moment. You'll avoid taking risks because you're afraid of not doing things perfectly. You'll exhaust yourself trying to meet standards that are impossible to achieve. 7. You'll see through people's facades, even when you don't want to. INFJs have an uncanny ability to see through people's masks and facades. You can sense when someone is being fake, when they're hiding something, or when their public persona doesn't match their private reality. This sounds like it would be useful, but it's actually one of the most painful aspects of being an INFJ. Imagine never being able to take people at face value. Imagine always sensing the hidden motives, the unspoken resentments, the carefully crafted personas that people present to the world. You'll know when your coworker is pretending to be happy while secretly planning to quit. You'll sense when your friend is smiling while harboring jealousy or resentment. This ability makes it hard to enjoy relationships at face value. You're always aware of the layers beneath the surface, the complexities that others are blind to. You can't just enjoy someone's company without being acutely aware of their internal struggles, their inconsistencies, their hidden pain. The worst part is that you often wish you could turn this ability off. Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. Sometimes you'd rather not know that someone is lying to you or pretending to care about you. But you can't unknow what you know, and you can't unsee what you've seen. 8. You'll always feel misunderstood, even by those closest to you. Perhaps the most heartbreaking truth of all is that INFJs will always feel fundamentally misunderstood, even by the people who love them most. Your family might think you're too sensitive. Your friends might think you're overthinking everything. Your romantic partners might think you're too intense or too needy. This isn't because these people don't care about you. They do. It's because the INFJ experience is so unique that it's nearly impossible for others to truly grasp it. How do you explain what it's like to feel everyone else's emotions? How do you describe the exhaustion that comes from constantly analyzing and processing everything around you? You'll find yourself constantly explaining your actions, your reactions, your needs. You'll try to help others understand why you need so much alone time, why you can't just lighten up, why you take everything so seriously. But most of the time, you'll be met with confusion or dismissal. This creates a profound loneliness that goes beyond being alone. You can be surrounded by people who love you and still feel completely isolated because they can't understand your inner world. You'll long for someone who just gets it, who doesn't need explanations, who understands your intensity without judgment. The weight of emotional sensitivity. Living as an INFJ means carrying the weight of extraordinary emotional sensitivity. You don't just experience your own emotions, you experience everyone else's too. Walking into a room where there's been an argument, you'll feel the tension even if everyone's pretending everything is fine. Watching the news isn't just about getting information. It's about absorbing the pain and suffering of strangers across the world. This emotional sensitivity extends to everything around you. A sad movie doesn't just make you cry, it haunts you for days. A harsh comment from a stranger doesn't just sting, it replays in your mind for weeks. A friend's breakup doesn't just make you sympathetic, it makes you feel their heartbreak as if it were your own. Most people learn to develop emotional calluses as they go through life. They build walls to protect themselves from feeling too much. But INFJs seem to be missing this protective mechanism. You feel everything fully, deeply, and completely. And while this allows you to connect with others in meaningful ways, it also means you're constantly overwhelmed by the emotional intensity of existence. The burden of seeing potential everywhere. One of the most frustrating aspects of being an INFJ is seeing potential everywhere. In people, in situations, in systems, and watching that potential go unrealized. You see who your friend could become if they just believed in themselves. You see how much better your workplace could function with a few simple changes. You see solutions to problems that everyone else seems to accept as unsolvable. But seeing potential and being able to actualize it are two very different things. You can't force people to reach their potential. You can't single-handedly fix broken systems. You can't make others see what you see or care about what you care about. This creates a constant state of frustration and disappointment. You're surrounded by missed opportunities and unrealized possibilities. You watch people settling for less than they deserve, organizations functioning far below their capacity, and society ignoring solutions to pressing problems. The weight of seeing all this potential and being unable to fully tap into it can be crushing. You feel responsible for outcomes that are beyond your control. You blame yourself for not doing enough, not being persuasive enough, not finding the right way to help others see what you see. The loneliness of deep thinking. While others are content with small talk and surface-level interactions, INFJs crave depth and meaning in every conversation. You want to talk about ideas, dreams, fears, and philosophies. You want to explore the big questions about life, purpose, and human nature. But finding others who share this appetite for depth is incredibly difficult. Most people are comfortable staying in the shallow end of the conversational pool. They'll talk about the weather, their weekend plans, or the latest TV show, but they'll shy away from more substantial topics. This creates a profound loneliness that goes beyond just being alone. You could be in a room full of people having conversations and still feel completely isolated because none of those conversations feed your soul. You long for someone who will dive deep with you, who will explore the complexities of existence without getting uncomfortable or changing the subject. When you do find these rare souls who can match your depth, the connection is intense and meaningful. But these connections are few and far between, leaving you feeling intellectually and emotionally starved most of the time. The paradox of helping others. INFJs are natural helpers and healers. You have an innate desire to make others feel better, to solve their problems, to ease their pain. People are naturally drawn to you for advice, comfort, and support. You become the friend everyone calls during a crisis, the colleague everyone turns to for guidance, the family member everyone relies on for emotional support. But here's the paradox. While you're incredibly good at helping others, you often struggle to help yourself. You can see exactly what your friend needs to do to improve their life, but you can't figure out your own problems. You can offer wisdom and perspective to others, but you second-guess every decision you make for yourself. This creates a one-sided dynamic in many of your relationships. You give and give and give, but when you need support, others often don't know how to help you. They're used to you being the strong one, the wise one, the one with all the answers. When you're struggling, they're often ill-equipped to provide the same level of support you've given them. The challenge of setting boundaries. Because INFJs are so empathetic and caring, setting boundaries feels almost impossible. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You don't want to seem selfish or uncaring. You want to be there for everyone who needs you. But without boundaries, you become overwhelmed, exhausted, and resentful. You say yes to every request for help, even when you're already stretched thin. You listen to everyone's problems, even when you're dealing with your own challenges. You prioritize others' needs over your own, even when it's damaging your mental and physical health. The harsh truth is that your inability to set boundaries will be exploited by others, often unconsciously. People will come to expect your unlimited availability and support. They'll take your kindness for granted and assume you'll always be there to pick up the pieces. Learning to set boundaries as an INFJ is one of the most difficult but necessary skills you'll need to develop. It goes against every instinct you have, but it's essential for your survival and well-being. Living with unrealistic expectations. INFJs tend to have incredibly high expectations for themselves, for others, and for the world in general. You believe people should be kind, honest, and genuine. You believe systems should be fair and efficient. You believe everyone should strive to be their best selves. These high expectations come from a place of optimism and idealism, but they also set you up for constant disappointment. The world rarely lives up to your standards. People frequently let you down. Systems are often unfair and inefficient, and you're left feeling disillusioned and frustrated. The challenge is learning to balance your idealism with realistic expectations. You don't want to become cynical or lower your standards so much that you stop caring. But you also can't continue to be crushed every time reality falls short of your ideals. This is perhaps one of the most difficult balances for INFJs to strike. How do you maintain your vision for how things could be while accepting how things actually are? Conclusion: being an INFJ isn't easy. These 8 harsh truths paint a picture of a personality type that experiences life with incredible depth and intensity, but also faces unique challenges that most people simply can't understand. You'll always feel somewhat like an outsider. You'll be drained by the very people you love most. Your intuition will isolate you even as it guides you. You'll care more deeply than others, and that depth of caring will sometimes hurt. Your search for meaning will set you apart from those content with surface-level living. Your perfectionism will be both your greatest strength and your biggest weakness. You'll see through facades even when ignorance would be more comfortable. And you'll often feel misunderstood, even by those who love you most. But here's what's important to remember. These truths don't define your entire existence. Yes, being an INFJ comes with unique challenges, but it also comes with incredible gifts. Your ability to understand others deeply, to see possibilities that others miss, to care with such intensity, and to envision a better world. These are not burdens, they're superpowers. The key is learning to navigate these harsh truths while still embracing the beautiful aspects of your personality. Find your tribe, those rare souls who understand your depth and don't judge your intensity. Set boundaries to protect your energy. Accept that not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Use your gifts to make the difference you're meant to make in this world. Remember, the world needs INFJs. We need your compassion, your insight, your idealism, and your unique perspective. The harsh truths of your experience don't diminish your value. They make your contributions all the more precious. So to all the INFJs out there feeling overwhelmed by these truths, you're not alone. You're part of a rare and special group of people who experience life differently. And while that can be incredibly challenging, it's also incredibly meaningful. Embrace your complexity, honor your sensitivity, and remember that your unique way of seeing the world is exactly what makes you valuable. The journey of an INFJ isn't an easy one, but it's a profound one. And in a world that often lacks depth and genuine connection, that profundity is exactly what we need.